So here's my audience via Zoom. So today I want to talk about why violent video games do not cause violence. So first off, I think that it has to do more with the genetics and the nature of someone as a child that makes someone do something violent than actual video games itself. Violent video games are intended for an audience of like 17, 18 plus, whose brain is more developed and knows rights from wrongs. I think that age-appropriate video games go a long way in this, and that you would not give a 10-year-old the video game Call of Duty, where you kill people, and expect them to fully understand that it's fictional and that killing people in real life and doing those things in the video game, if you would do those in real life, then that would have real repercussions. I don't think they fully understand fictional versus real life. I think where people mess up, where they mess this up, is you see smaller kids than the age on the video game that I just mentioned, that their brain is not fully developed, therefore they don't know what is right and what is wrong in that invisible line. Violent video games are often difficult and the level of competition is hard. Call of Duty is a difficult game, and it's very hard. I play a little bit of it myself, so I would know. Studies around both of that difficulty and level of competition show that both of these were present in fostering aggressive thoughts and actions. So it's not just the video game itself, it's the difficulty and the level of competition. It's the same way you would have the same level of built up anger, say playing an intense game of Mario Kart with your brother and you lose, versus dying to someone in Call of Duty. It's the level of competition that fosters those aggressive thoughts. So researchers recently surveyed more than 1,000 British teens ages 14 to 15 on how often they play games, and asked their parents to report how aggressively their children acted over the past month. They examined whether each variable was connected and found no evidence of a correlation. Teens who played violent video games many hours per week did not act more aggressively than those who played peaceful games or no games at all. So the level there can't really correlate with the actual violent video games. It's rather than just the individual themselves. So one thing I haven't mentioned, but most likely you are thinking this, is aren't all those school shootings related in some fashion to violent video games? Well, the simple answer is no. In fact, the Secret Service has a study to show the characteristics of school shooters, the ones in the past, and show that only 14% of them enjoyed violent video games, compared to 70% of their peers. So I don't think there's any correlation there between that. I think it's just the individual and how they grew up. I think that growing up in the nurturing of someone affects them more impactful than video games. I don't think there's really a correlation there. So should children play violent video games? My conclusion is that only what is age appropriate. I would not recommend that young children play Call of Duty for the same reason that I would not recommend they watch a war movie until they are mature enough to understand. I think that maturity goes a long way in this argument and debate, and I think that's something that will be monitored in the future. Thank you.